First of all, thanks a ton to Mahalakshmi Saravanan for this very ambitious webinar series. I could see a lot of speakers from abroad as well as from India, a lot of interesting success stories. Today, for the time given, I know it's a very short time, but I'll try to do that. I'm going to speak about the art of business. And welcome to the world of business. We all know we are in the world of business. And what we mean by business, it's a very old English word called as busyness, you to be very busy. And the origin of that word also has originated from a word called anxiety. That's the reason maybe in the world of business, there is a lot of stress and tension, and chaos. And how do I put the things straight, right, in the world of business? And to understand that, when you see business, business is not merely about facts and numbers. Today, we have a lot of technology, where we can measure data and numbers. But that doesn't make a business very, very interesting. What makes a business very interesting is that the way in which you narrate the story, your success story, your vision, your values to the outside world. That's what makes life and business very, very interesting. And when I say the art of storytelling, how to make the world of business very, very interesting is that our narrative techniques should merge with our business goals, which will ensure, persuade, and inspire audiences. Does your business persuade and inspire the people, especially your customers? And if it inspires, how it looks like. Generally, when you look in business, many a times in business, it becomes very chaotic. And it is like a jumbled sentence, like where you can see in the picture, the pieces of the jumble are not fixed properly. But by using the art of storytelling, we can fix the jumbled things where the business looks very, very interesting to the customers. And how do you narrate the business stories to our customers or stakeholders? When we do a business, we have to see to that whether there is a purpose behind doing your business. For example, is it that you're doing some business just for the sake of making money, or the business which you're doing has a real requirement by the world around you? And what happens is that when every story needs a clear purpose, in business, storytelling is often used to explain complex data, influence decisions, convey a vision, and also inspire teams. And the role of your business has to have a purpose, deeper purpose, where it can contribute to the greater good of this globe. And how do you structure your business? When you say business, business is all about challenges. And when you face challenges, how do you give a solution to the challenge? But when you structure your business in such a way, it looks very interesting to you as well as to your customers. How do you begin the business? You have to introduce the challenge or the situation. And once you introduce the challenge or the situation, you can describe the journey or process. I've seen a lot of women entrepreneurs. They were talking about their challenging journey in spite of being from small villages, how they overcame their challenges, and they built into a sizable business. And that's what this talks about, the structure talks about. It is to describe the journey or process of addressing the challenge. And once this challenge is well defined, and then you have to work out through your innovation to reveal the resolution and achievement or takeaway from this business. And what is the solution you're providing to the outside world through your business? It could be through the product, or it could be through your service. And when you say business, story should connect with the audience personally. Any story which does not connect with the people. So today, if you see, when you buy a product, whether it's an FMCG product or any product which you buy, very seldom we look at the facts and buy the product. Maybe there could be price points, there could be certain advantages, quality, and whatnot. But lately, when you actually buy a product, you listen to your emotional brain. When you say an emotional brain, the brain is split into two parts. The one is the neocortex. The neocortex gives you lots of facts and figures. We try to segregate a particular product with the competitor brands available in the market, the price points, the quality, the durability, and so on and so forth. But based on only these facts and figures, we don't take a decision to buy that product. Here comes the role of the limbic system, or which you call the emotional brain. The emotional brain will actually tell you to whether to buy this product or not. So, what do you mean by this? So, the emotional brain will influence you to buy a particular product. So, what it means is that the emotional brain can be highly influenced by telling stories. And that is the real purpose of telling a beautiful business story when you sell a product or a service. And when understanding the audience emotions, values, and pain points is critical, and that is how you relate your story, your business story, with the story of the audience. And when you tell a business story, many times when we say as business people, it's not necessarily we exaggerate about our product and tell too many things about our product that we feel that by exaggerating our product, the customer will get carried away and buy our product. But actually, you have to speak, you have to be very authentic. And here comes telling genuine stories based on real experiences, which builds trust. As we could see, a lot of doctors, engineers, they were sharing they're very simple people from villages. They were sharing their real life stories, which was very genuine and which was very, very humble. And this have really builds the question of trust. And when build trust, and that is where exactly a customer will love to buy a product. Whereas if your story is fabricated or exaggerated narratives can lead to loss of credibility. It's very, very difficult to earn the respect and trust of your customers. By exaggerating and fabricating your stories, you lose customers. And that's what, whether it's digital marketing or any type of marketing, marketeers have to be very, very careful when they write business stories, their advertisements, or whatever it is. They have to be very, very authentic in their particular story. And once you do that, you emotionally engage with your customer. A good business story taps into emotions like excitement, curiosity, and many importantly, empathy. If you can empathize with your customer, if you can understand the pain points of your customer, and that is what makes any story very, very memorable. Of course, do you have facts and data to inform, but emotions will persuade over these facts and data. We have seen in the olden times, we tell a lot of stories, especially you could say the tortoise and the hare story, where it's a very, very simple story which is very devoid of jargons and unnecessary complexity. Likewise, if you can build your business story which brings a lot of clarity and simplicity, that should communicate the key messages in a way which is very, very easy to understand. I've seen a lot of spreadsheets and keynotes where the marketer feels that he has to push a lot of too much of data, too much of an information to the customer. By doing this, we create a lot of confusion and chaos in the minds of the customer. And rather than facilitating the customer to take an easy decision to buy a product, by giving too much of an information, which is very difficult for him to chew, it becomes very complicated. And by due to this, since it's not easy to understand, he's not able to take a very wise decision on buying a product or a service. So as marketeers, you have to be very, very careful that your business story is very, very simple and easy to understand. And then once you narrate these stories, which are very easy to understand, finally, the real outcome of any story should be for call of action. Whether you're inspiring a team, pitching to clients, or sharing a company vision, your story should guide the audience towards a specific action or outcome. There are many instances where we tend to tell the story and we might go away from the focus area. And when we go away from the focus area, the customer is not able to take an action on whether to buy the product or not. So ultimately, when you tell a beautiful story, we have to be very focused on the climax or the ending of the story. How do you facilitate your story for helping the customer to buy a product? And let us see how the types of few types of business stories which you can tell in your hustle and bustle of daily busy life. The first one is the foundational story. Many of the stories we talk about the what of the business and of the how of the business. Very few businesses talk about the why of a business. In fact, there's a very beautiful book written by Simon Sinek, what we call the Golden Circle. We need to describe our stories are original stories, the product idea, and explain the why of the business. What I mean by why of the business is that what is the real purpose of the business? What solution your business provides to the world around us? And when this purpose is justified, and that is what is called as a foundational story of your business. And if you do not have one, please do write a foundational story which gives a clear purpose and call the why of your business. And once this is very, very clear, you need to take, for example, customer success stories. We have seen an umpteen number of examples in the world around, especially in the FMCG product, where you can take, for example, a brands like Puma, where they make the customer experience. For example, they give the advertisement of Bolt, where they use their product to narrate a testimonial, how their product has made a particular athlete a world-class athlete. And when you share these success stories from your client, and this is where which will make these powerful testimonials, which will enhance the viability of your product. So you as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you have to collect a lot of testimonials which are very authentic and very, very real. The next one is that we have to see that are you making a business which is just a me too business, or is my business involves innovation? When I say innovation, I don't mean rocket science. When I say rocket science, can I make a particular existing product a little bit better for my customer? And you can see from this picture what is disruptive innovation is all about. Many years back, we were in the journey of listening to music by using a cassette player. But when innovation stepped in, then came the CD player. And today we are to witness the world of digital music. You can see in a span of 15 to 20 years how a simple product has transformed very boundaries, and with simple innovation, how it made the life of a person or a customer so easy. So you need to see that there is an active ingredient of innovation when you tell a business story. You can tell leadership stories, narratives about leaders in the company. Focusing on the vision, values, and decisions can inspire teams and stakeholders alike. In fact, when Steve Jobs started this company called the Apple, he told a beautiful stories about Albert Einstein, Edison, Mahatma Gandhi, and these were leaders who had disrupted the world around us. And by doing this, he wanted, by bringing the product of Apple, by bringing a lot of innovation and simplicity into that, and have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. And they somehow know what you truly want to become. So when you say leadership stories, you can have a leadership story from the place you belong to, where that story should inspire many millions of your customers to buy a product. Let us see, because of the time factor, let me go a little bit fast into some of the techniques used in business storytelling. Business is all about data. And we are in an area of data, or I would say an information overload. With too much of a data, it becomes very difficult for a customer to buy a product. So how do we? So data can enhance storytelling by providing credibility. The data which you use in a story should only to form the credibility of your story, and must be weaved into a story or a narrative in such a way that transform numbers into story by focusing on the impact behind the data. Just don't use data and graphs for the sake of showing it. The data should give some insights about your product, and that's how you use data. Use beautiful elements, visual elements. They say a particular image will speak 1,000 times more than text. And when you use visuals or infographics or videos or even simple slides can enhance storytelling by adding a lot of clarity and engage with your customers. So when you tell a business story, try to minimize the amount of text in your story and try to add a lot of emotional components in your visual, which can inspire the customer to buy a product. And that's the reason today in the world of digital marketing, there is a lot of visuals, a lot of videos involved, which can inspire the customer. And see to that, your business story falls at least to some extent the story arc. When I say a story arc, does it follow a nice pattern where there should be triggering factors, there should be a quest on the story, there should be surprise elements in the story, there should be a critical choice, there should be a nice climax, and it should help the customer in taking a wise decision. And then every story, I would say, and we are from a country of stories. So when we tell a business story, focus on the hero. The hero of the story can be your customer himself. For example, you're giving an iPhone to a customer. Who's the hero of your story? The customer who's buying your iPhone or your product, the digital product, is the hero. So the business story should move around your customer and make him the hero. The business product or service is the guide that helps the hero achieve success. And see to that by giving your product how the hero of your story can achieve excellence by using your product. And that's how you should weave a lot of hero-based stories into your business stories. And now let's see, there could be certain emotions. No story is complete without emotion. We are a bundle of emotions. When I say emotions, there are a lot of types of key emotions in business story. To narrate a very few of them, does your story inspire? That means it motivates the audience to take an action or a change. There are certain stories, business stories, which is on change management or which talks about the world around on weather or something like that, climate change. Does your story inspire the customers to take a change? Does your story ignite empathy, creates an emotional connection by make them feel, understand about the pain points of the customer? Does your story give hope to people, which engages audiences by focusing on a better future? Does your product is just a Me Too product, or does it give a better hope to your patient? Does your product bring joy? When you say joy, does it evoke positive feelings, making the brand associated with happiness? The end result of any product or service to bring happiness, isn't it? Does it build trust? It instills confidence in the brand's authenticity. And when I say trust, it is two sides of the coin. And the one side, it is the character about your business or the story. The other side is the competence. When I say competence, does your product has all the ingredients to give a particular solution? At the same time, does your company has a greater attitude? And when this merges together, and that is where your customer builds a lot of trust and buys a product. And when anybody buys a product or a service, you should have a sense of pride, which makes the customers feel proud to be associated with the brand or the product. And if you could weave these 6 elements, like inspiration, empathy, hope, joy, trust, and pride into your story, and that is where you would have written an excellent business story. And I would just go a little bit cruise. I have just another 3-4 minutes. I'll cruise like
So
that.
we are short of time.
Yes. I'll just take a minute, ma'am. I'll just wind up with this. There are some of the beautiful business stories world over. The story of simplicity by Apple. You have the story of Airbnb, the people who could not afford a stay in a good hotel. And that's evolved the beautiful emotional story of Airbnb. When you talk about innovation and sustainable future, which talk about in the world of innovation and electronics, we talk about Tesla. When you talk about a business, we have a campaign called Just Do It. Is it that business is meant only for the high flyers or even for ordinary people? Even ordinary people, by having an attitude of just do it, like the way the Nike brand sells, you can achieve success. When you say Coca-Cola, share a Coke or happiness, does your business share joy with your customers? That's very important. When you say Starbucks, it's called the third place. In between your home and your office, is there a place where you discuss business? Of course, Starbucks found out a place. When you say Amazon, we say a customer obsession, where Amazon, it's a household name, where today world over people buy the products we're sitting at their home. That's the beautiful stories of the Amazon. So the key takeaways from here is that takeaway is that every business has a story to tell. Every business has a story to tell. And marketing is the art of telling a story that moves people to